Welcome to the Postal Peter Urbi. I'm your host, Peter Biancamano, and this is your one-stop shop for sports picks, politics and government chatter, and even some neighborhood restaurant reviews. Instead of going to 3 different channels, you can come here every week for the pulse on everything you need to know. And why don't we begin with our Picks with Peter B segment. Joining us 3rd week in a row, back by popular demand, is former SNY sports betting analyst, Mr. Jay Sinatra. Jay, what's going on,
How you doing, man? Thanks for having me again. Ready
Thanks
to
for
roll.
coming back, and we have a pig roasting behind us, and we're going to get to that a little later on, but let's start
It's Adam Gase.
Adam Gase. Oh, there he goes. He's fired up already, folks. Fired up already. But why don't we start with a PSA? And Jay, you might want to say
Yeah, I
something
just
about it.
wanted to say something. The last couple of weeks, I've been meaning to talk about problem gambling, and with all this new content that we deliver and talk, and with the casinos open and upon legalization, just make sure if there's any gambling problems that you have, or friends, family, so on and so forth, 1-800-GAMBLER. We can have fun, energy, excitement with everything, but we got to make sure we're responsible. We got to make sure the bills are paid, the kids have diapers and milk, so on and so forth. Be safe, be responsible, keep playing.
Very nice of you to say, Jay. Very nice of you to say. Now, let's get to our awards from last week.
Okay, we got the dog treats. We're giving out the biscuit this week to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, +7 against the Carolina Panthers. They win the game outright in Carolina. Tampa gets a win and a treat.
There you go. And that's it? No more?
No more, just
No
one
more
this week.
treats.
They
I
were the
like
biggest
it.
dog, and they were an outright winner, so they get the treat and they get a
And
win.
they get the treat. Perfect. There you go, Tampa. Speaking of Tampa,
Yeah.
they play those 0-2 New York Giants. Of course, there was all the talk this week, and we're not going to bore you with that,
Yeah,
folks.
no, enough of that.
Regarding Daniel Jones now being the starting quarterback for Eli Manning. Spread.
Yeah,
What is the spread telling you right now?
well, talk about the game last week. First
Right.
off, Buffalo, they went in as a 1.5-point favorite in that game. They ended up winning 28-14. The over-under in that game was 44. It lands on 42. So you had the Bills and the under if you were playing. Now moving forward this week, the line opened up at 6. Tampa Bay. After the quarterback decision, the change was made. That line went up to 7. I mean, there's a lot of layers that have to go into this game, of course, with the Eli situation. Peter said we're not going to go too deep into that. That's more of an organizational gaffe on the Giants' part. And like we said last week, I don't trust anything this organization's doing moving forward. Decisions up and down the ladder. If you're going to draft Jones, you should have started him right away. You should have never gotten involved with Eli's contract. But here we are, week 3, and a change is being made.
Changes being made is right. And what's amazing is, the Giants defense, and we spoke about this last week on the show, the Giants defense has been downright awful.
They have no
first
impact
week.
players.
No impact players. You mentioned that last
No
week.
secondary.
Absolutely. So it's going to make this rookie quarterback have to throw the ball more because they're going to be down in games. But you know what? We don't want to dive too much into that. The New York Jets.
Yeah.
The New York Jets are now 0-2, of course. What a disaster of a game Monday night. Why don't we first start out with that, and then we can start looking at their spread at New England this weekend.
Well, I mean, what I didn't like, well, first off, the spread ended up going to, it stayed pretty much at 6.5. We spoke about the move from 2.5 to 6.5 when the announcement was made about Darnold. But, as far as the Jets go, there's a lot of things I don't like. I mean, Gase is one of them. Talk about another organizational disaster. I don't like the body language Gase had coming off the field in the first half. I mean, his offensive play calling, their offensive line is terrible. Cleveland was rushing the quarterback the entire night. They make some plays on defense. Adams got great heart, and he plays hard to the end of the game. But
he was upset at the end of the game or the next day looking to possibly get out of there, right?
Right, but it's just the whole thing with the Jets right now is just upside down, and
Right.
I don't see it getting any improvement. But as far as this week goes, they go up to lovely Foxborough, where they opened up at about, I would say, an 18, 19-point favorite.
that
The
much?
Patriots were 18, 19 points favorite over the Jets. That line has gone to 22.5. 22.5. Now, keep in mind, the Patriots were also nearly a 20-point favorite against the Dolphins last week. So we've had 3 near or over 20-point favorites, which is unprecedented in the first 3 weeks of the season already.
I mean, there's really no middle. It's like you're a bad team or a really, really good team, according to the odds makers.
Well,
at
there's
least,
not
correct?
a lot of great teams. I mean, there's a big variance between a lot of the teams. But this early in the season, usually later in the season when the teams' records are really split up, you have a 11-1 playing against a 5-7 or something like that. You'll have a big. This early in the season, though, to see all these big time spreads, Miami and Dallas is another game.
I was going to say we were going to bring that up, right?
Dallas is 21.5 points over Miami. I can't remember, since I've been following spreads my entire life and picking games and watching games, this early in the season, I mean, any time of the season to have 2 games with this big of a point spread. We're only in week number 3, and the all-time biggest point spread record in the game, you got to go back to 1976. The Pittsburgh Steelers were a 27-point favorite against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They covered that game. I got a feeling that number could be challenged this year. It could be challenged by the Patriots. They still play the Jets again after this game. They play the Redskins. They play the Giants up in Foxborough. And they're going to be a minimum 3-touchdown favorite in all of those games.
But now, if you're a gambling man, I mean, you look at these huge spreads, and you know, I've never bet on a sports game in my life. I've said this over and over to you. I'm hoping to start soon because we have the great Jason Atra now on the Pulse. I mean, 3rd week in a row, baby.
Don't put that kind of pressure on me, geez.
So, you know, if I'm a beginning gambler, correct, I'm looking at this and I'm saying, oh my God, the bookies want me to bet Miami. They want me to bet on the Jets.
Well, they want the money to be split. I mean, that's the biggest thing. And as you know, you see these numbers initially. Now, the Patriots opened at like 18-19 over the Jets. So, and I know that money's going in because if you listen to all the so-called experts and radio and media people, television, they all say, oh, this game's going to be 37-3, 41-10, so on and so forth. So what they're trying to do as that number keeps going higher, they want to reel in some Jets money and kind of balance it out because if the Patriots come in and cover, they're paying all that Patriot money out. So they like to keep it a little bit more balanced. How about this? We spoke some money lines last week. I forgot the game we were talking about, but it might have been the Patriot-Miami game, right, where we said it was 25-1.
Right.
You had to lay 5 dimes out to win 200 if you wanted them straight up. How about this week? I've seen money lines, the Patriots nearing 50-1 in that game. So if you want to win $200, you got to lay 10 dimes, $10,000 to win 200 just for the Patriots to win the game straight up. So
but then how much do you get at the end?
Well, you'd lay 10,000
to win 200.
Right. Now, if
so you can lay 10 grand just to make $10,200. Is that
well,
accurate?
yeah, you'd get that back, and yeah, you the 200 would be your profit.
So how's that even worth it? I mean,
and find another game. But if you want to
find another game is right.
If you want to take a shot with the Jets, I mean, I've seen the Jets returning like, you know, around $2,000 on a $100 bet. So if you're feeling lucky and you want to take a long shot
with their third string quarterback,
up in Foxborough, I'm sure.
Up in Foxborough,
I'm sure
exactly.
Belichick would do anything in his right mind not to lose that game.
Not to lose it, but at the end of the day, I mean, all they have to do is cover, correct?
No, they'd have to win that game
they have to win outright. Okay,
now, if you take the Jets, this is good. I'm glad.
This is good because I'm learning, folks. I'm learning. We have some time.
And we're explaining it to everybody out there. If you want to just take the Jets to cover, it's a straight $100 bet, so it'd be like that 110 or maybe 115 depending on where you're betting. The vig could be 110, 115, 120. But then you
explain the vig one more time.
Well, that's the number. That's like the tax number you pay on a $100 bet. So if you walk into a sports book and you want to take the Jets, whether it's William Hill, FanDuel, DraftKings, sometimes all of the vig numbers differ. So some of them might be 110 to win 100. Some of them might be 118 to win 100. Some of them might be 130 to win 100.
Okay.
Most of the numbers I've seen, if you like the Jets plus 22.5 right now, you'd lay just 110 to win 100. So if the Patriots win this game 35-14, and you have the Jets, you're a winner.
You're a winner. Unbelievable.
Who you taking?
Jay Sinatra. Not anybody in that game, that's for sure. I got to worry about the Dallas Cowboys with this huge spread right now. Well, Jay Sinatra, thank you so much for coming back. Me. Absolutely. Yeah. We're going to have some pig a little bit later on, but when we come back, it's the second part of a 4-part series of our eminent domain abuse town hall from Our Lady of Grace Auditorium. You are not going to want to miss it. We will be back.
For 30 years, New York Waterway has been a trusted friend of the city of Hoboken by enhancing the everyday commute for thousands of city residents and by always answering the call during emergencies big and small. Now that reliability and comfort the ferries offer is in jeopardy. The Union Dry Dock facility is vital to the ferry's existence. You don't have to choose between reliable transportation and parkland. Learn the truth. New York Waterway and Hoboken are better together. Visit nywaterway.com/truth.
Welcome back to the Pulse of Peter Media. I'm your host, Peter Biancamano, and this is part 2 of a 3-part segment on eminent domain. And joining us once again here at the Our Lady of Grace Auditorium is Josh Sotomayor Einstein, our political analyst every week here on the Pulse. Natalia Ayafi, getting better, correct? Who is a community activist in Jersey City, and of course, Miriam Drake, a community activist here in the great city of Hoboken. Thank you again for being here, although you didn't move and we're slicing this together. So, how did or are you currently fighting for property rights in your community? Why don't we start from Natalia?
Thank you. So when we have discovered as the Center Street Block Association, Center Street spans approximately 4 residential blocks in downtown Jersey City. We are on the border of sorts between neighborhoods between Ward E and Ward F in Jersey City. So if you look us up, it's Center Street Montgomery and Center Street Grand Street. It goes right alongside New Jersey Turnpike, right at the exit. So we're quite visible. It's a semi-industrial area. It is, if you take the 4 square blocks into view, it is largely former factories and auto body shops. However, the face of Center Street are 95% residential homes, which range from residents who've been there for 60 years to, like ourselves, you know, since 2014, although having purchased from a similar kind of old-timey family of actual sculptors and architects. So it's not an entirely forgotten area. And since we moved in, we formed a block association, we started cleaning up the neighborhood, you know, we thought that this is what you're supposed to do, you know, until we discovered, until kind of the phone calls started coming in from none other than our councilman saying, please expect to be contacted. Because as it happens, your area has been designated for redevelopment, and so, you know, it'd be great if you could negotiate with this developer that's going to come knocking. And once the developer came knocking, their first approach was, well, are you or your neighbors interested in selling? You know, since you have a block association, we'll start with you. We said it would be great, you know, if you do have an interest in purchasing, to get us together as a community, as a group at least, and ask us and let us know what you're offering, how this is going to work. None of that was met, you know, none of those requests were met. They requested only individualized sit-downs, as they called it, you know, let's have a sit-down. As this push and pull began between ourselves and the developer, and so, of course, you know, they were able to reach out to some of the homeowners who were amenable to selling. But as I've described before, the price that they have offered was, you know, hugely less than what these homeowners could obtain on the free market had they had that opportunity. And just from our experience, having discussed this with the representatives of the developer, when we explained that, you know, but what if we resist, or what if we do not want to, or what if we go to court, what if the city takes us to court, for example, then the response almost always was, well, you're just going to lose. You're going to become drained by all these legal battles. At the end of the day, you're going to have nothing left. And then the judge actually tends to give the lower end of the fair market value, as it's considered, to the homeowner if they choose to fight this. So that's the kind of rhetoric that we've been dealing with for over a year. So our first step as a taxpayer, as a resident, as an involved community member of Jersey City, has been naturally to go to our council members and to say, look, you have the authority and the power to get involved in this redevelopment plan and to change this language that currently places, now we cannot speak for the factories, whatever, however you guys want to develop an industrial zone, it's not our business, you know, but when it comes to our homes, our neighbors' homes, you have the power to take that language, kind of get us off the acquisition list, as we currently are. We are on Jersey City Redevelopment Agency's acquisition list, and there's nothing we can do about it unless our government chooses to do something about it.
Well, let's start back a year and a half ago, November 2017, when New York Waterway bought the land on the old Union Dry Dock. I was ecstatic because when Union Dry Dock closed, I wanted a working waterfront, the historic part of this city to remain alive and well. And the ferries, I had a romance with the ferries, thinking, oh, this is great. When my father lived here years ago, they stopped the ferries in '66 after he left, and then Imperator started them up in Weehawken, and it came back to Hoboken. And I found out it took them so long to find this property, to finally get it bought. And 3 years, negotiations back and forth, back and forth. And when I saw the pictures of them raising the flag on Union Dry Dock with the waterway flag, they finally were safe. Our mayor wanted to steal it from them. He was outraged because how dare they buy it? And this was their property, their right, it was for sale. Bob Burke of Union Dry Dock wanted it to remain a working waterfront, and it would be, because it was now with the ferries. I have been fighting ever since to stop this obsession and unfairness to steal someone's private property. They paid for it. They've been paying taxes on it since November of 2017, and yet they are not allowed to use it. They don't have the facilities. It would cost tens and tens and tens of millions of dollars to try to facilitate something similar. But you can't, because this is meant and was designed exactly for that. Repairing, refueling. We live with gas stations. It's not a big deal, but everything's been blown so much out of proportion. My fight has been constantly trying to tell the truth. Read the reports. That's so important, and it's been very one-sided with only a certain sector of the public. And I try to inform everyone there's nothing wrong with having the ferries there. It would be an asset. We need the ferries. Everyone that loses their land in eminent domain, a lot of them go out of business. They will never get the money that they paid for it. In this case, they would get nothing because they have to remediate the land. They would be damaged financially. And who says that there's such a thing that a ferry company will last forever? Nothing is guaranteed in this life. Nothing. Everything costs a lot of money. So we have to pay attention to the use here. A park is a use, but we have 21 plus parks already. We only have one real ferry system in this area, and I commute to work. I take the path. When the path is not running, when New Jersey Transit is not running, when the Academy bus is not running, the first thing they say is, take the ferry. Take the ferry. It helped me with Sandy. It helped people with September 11th. It's a necessity of this area.
So, real quick, years ago, there was an eminent domain case in Jersey City, a bar by the name of the Golden Cicada, and the city government in Jersey City tried to take their property in order to enlarge the next door field of a private school. And there were a lot of people in the community that said this was egregious, that this is not a public need, this is a private one, that a special interest, however good the school may be, should not be able to make null and void our individual universal property rights. And that the bar owner who lived above his bar had the same basic rights as you and me and Natalia and New York Waterway. And what the people there did is they rallied, they wrote letters, they wrote op-eds, they protested, and they eventually cowed the Jersey City government into backtracking and leaving that property owner's property alone.
Well, Josh, Natalia, and Mary, we want to thank you for joining us for the second of the three-part series. They will be back here next week for their final segment, I should say. We'll be right back, folks.
New York Waterway values the rich history of Hoboken's working waterfront and the modern-day importance of preserving green space. Plans for our Union Dry Dock facility will incorporate the best of both, with a state-of-the-art ferry maintenance facility and expanded public use of the waterfront, with a promenade, fishing pier, and kayak landing. You don't have to choose between reliable transportation and parkland. Learn the truth. New York Waterway and Hoboken are better together. Visit nywaterway.com/truth.
Peter Biancamano, your hostess with the mostest of the Pulse with Peter B. And we are joined by none other than Jake Biancamano. If you're ever in my parents' great Italian deli, you'll probably see him hanging outside or when the deli is closed. And Jake wants to remind you, he told me he wants to remind you to make sure you follow us at our new Instagram page, and that's at The Pulse with Peter B. Make sure you like and follow us on Facebook by typing in The Pulse with Peter B in your search bar. And Jake also wanted me to let you know, because he tells me he watches it all the time, to go and binge watch our past episodes of The Pulse on YouTube by subscribing to our network. Jake, do you got anything to say? Nothing to say from Jake. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you soon. Welcome back to The Pulse with Peter B. And in our Places with Peter B segment, we have been just about everywhere. And I'm pretty sure we've never been behind an actual pig that's roasting. And we are here at the Knights of Columbus in Maywood, New Jersey for an event that we're going to get to in a little bit, but we are with the proprietors behind this pig roast that's going on, and they also own the business Rotisserie Cuisine and Catering, and that's Mr. Steven and Kimmy. Guys, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
How you guys doing today? All right?
Excellent.
Excellent. Great. So I have to start with you, Steven, because we spoke about this off camera. How long does it take for the beginning of this process to the end of this process?
Well, from the beginning, you got to obviously season it and marinate it first, so that takes a little while. Then you got to skewer it. That takes a little while. So the whole process probably about 5 hours.
5 hours, he says. So he's been here like all day. And Kimmy, your business is known to do this, correct? But you guys obviously do a lot more.
Yes, we do. We do rotisserie. We do pigs, lambs, chicken, vegetables, everything on this machine. We do also every type of event you can possibly think of, from picnics to weddings.
To anything else your heart desires, let's just say. To anything else your heart desires, we'll just say.
To kosher, to dinners, 25.
Wait, but you're not really going to see this at a bar mitzvah, though, I'm guessing. What's going on right here? I didn't think so.
But we do have a kosher kitchen that we can do kosher as well. So we have our kitchen in Midland Park, which is a commercial kitchen, and that's where we cook all food.
And would you say that you guys are strictly for New Jersey, or do you guys go to the city, or
To all of the tri-state area and Pennsylvania. I mean, not too far back into Pennsylvania, but as far as we can possibly go, we do. Yes.
And Stephen, would you say that this is certainly one of your most popular items to do when you go to any type of parties that Kimmy just described?
In the summer.
Yeah.
And spring.
Yeah, this is it's a little bit something different. So it's cooking in front of the guest. It's a little bit of a cooking show.
Gotcha.
We do wok-seared veggies. You got the pig cooking, so we do everything cooked fresh on site. So it's kind of nice to have the guest watching it cook, smelling it cook, and it just gives it a whole different experience.
And the smell is unbelievable, folks. We wish we had smell-o-vision on the post, but we don't have it, unfortunately.
And we have apparently our huge appetizer spread inside, and then the dinner spread inside, which we will actually bring this inside, and we actually can use this inside. Some places don't allow it, but we can cook this pig, this machine, inside with our mobile wok. So this is a mobile rotisserie machine and a mobile wok that we can cook inside as well.
Phenomenal. And we will absolutely get those shots from inside. I know Greg was doing a great job.
As you can tell, it's smokeless. We're standing in front of it. It's cooking right now, and there's no smoke.
No smoke.
So it's a smokeless.
I was wondering about that, right?
Yeah, because the burner's on the either side, so it's actually a smokeless grill, rotisserie. So it's,
Unbelievable. And I'm sure the taste is probably the same, correct?
yeah, it's phenomenal.
Phenomenal. I can't wait to have some, folks. I really can't. So we're going to head inside. First, we're going to have another interview with a member here because this is a special event that Stephen and Kimmy are putting on with their business. But if people want to visit you, if they want to know, where they can get a pig roast going, at their house, where can they contact you?
They can contact me on rotisseriecuisinecatering.com or Instagram, Rotisserie Cuisine Catering, or Facebook, Rotisserie Cuisine and Symbol Catering.
And Symbol
Or
Catering.
they can call me 973-865-8309 or email me as well, rotisseriecuisine@gmail.com.
Boom. Man, there's nothing else that needs to be said. Do we even have to put up a graphic for that? Who knows? The studio will decide that or not. Now, Stephen, before we go, I'm just wondering, this has to be just a love for cooking, obviously, to do something like this. I mean, how long have you been doing this? And, do you see yourself doing anything else in the future?
Well, I've been a chef for 40 years. I was executive chef of 2 fitness resorts in San Diego. I was doing this in San Diego for a while and then decided to bring it here because I haven't seen it. So there's not a lot of mobile pig roasting going on that I know of here. So it's fun. It's something I enjoy, and I think people are going to love it.
Celebrity chef for 40 years and also has 3 cookbooks out as well.
Look at that. Boy, is she your publicist too? He gave her the little wink there, folks. I saw it. Anyway, folks, this is unbelievable. Visit them, rotisseriecuisinecatering.com, and everywhere else that Kimmy said. This is just fantastic. We're having a great time. We can't wait to try it. here with my man Bill Colacurcio at the Knights of Columbus in beautiful Maywood, New Jersey. A little small Knights of Columbus, but it's certainly one of the nicer ones that I visited. I mean, you guys are doing a phenomenal job here. Bill, how are you?
I'm well. How about yourself?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you for having us. The Pulse, we like to go everywhere, and, you know, all the way up to Maywood, it looks like we're going as well. So, Bill, you've been a long-time member here, as you mentioned to me. Today's event is a special event. For what reason? What type of event is going on, and what makes it special?
So today's event is is our annual golf outing. It's called Kids in Need, KIN, the KIN Fund. It's a foundation that we started about 14 years ago here at the Maywood Knights of Columbus. And the special kind of piece in my heart about it is that we take the funds, the profits that are raised from the event, and we donate to local kids in the community and surrounding communities who are challenged with some medical issues. Their parents have mounting medical bills, and we want to help offset those medical bills for those kids. So that's what today is, you know, between the folks who donate to us, the players here, and the corporate sponsors who provide whole sponsorships to us. So we make a nice amount of money during the day today, and it's important to us to donate back to the community.
That's phenomenal, because some other places, I mean, they would just throw a couple of pizza pies for their, you know, donors during the year. You actually have a pig roast here, so that's just absolutely great to hear. Now, can you just describe for the audience some other events that you guys do here throughout the year?
Sure. So we do a lot of events during the course of the year. We start out in January with our annual comedy night. That brings us into kind of February, which we do a Valentine's Day event, and then in March we do St. Patty's event. We do other events during the course of the year. We've got a Christmas tree sale that we're doing, during the holidays. We've got obviously this golf outing. We just had a clam bake last week. So there's a lot of events that we do during the course of the year to help raise funds for different charities throughout the community. We also do a scholarship fundraiser during the course of the year. So we actually donate to local kids in the Maywood community who are going to both Catholic high schools and Catholic colleges. Obviously, we're a Catholic organization, so we very much believe in donating back to those local kids who are trying to further their education in the Catholic community.
Absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Now, and how many members would you say you have here? And for anybody who might be watching at home that wants to be part of the Knights of Columbus, what can they do? Where can they visit?
So we have about 235 what I'll call active members here in the community. Obviously, like any other organization, you have your core group of people who tend to do everything, myself included. So the great part about the Knights of Columbus, it's kind of like a brotherhood as we see it. It's very easy to join. You just need to be Catholic. You need to apply to your local Knights of Columbus council. And kind of the thing that we say to everyone is just be active, right? We want you to be active in your council. You don't need to do everything. Just be active. Be part of committees that are going on. Be active. Help out. Volunteer. And it's really important that you can give back to your community, like as we have. I've been a member here for over 20 plus years, so it's fantastic.
Phenomenal. Bill Colacurcio, thank you so much for joining us and for the great absolute description. I mean, it makes me want to sign up immediately if I can. Hey, listen, I'm Catholic. Can I?
Absolutely.
There you go. There you go.
Fill out a Form 100 and we'll get you in.
All right. I like that. And folks, a few weeks ago, I was at the Molto San Giacomo Club in Hoboken. They want me to, I'm going to be joining all these groups. I'm not going to have time for anything, I feel like. Bill Colacurcio, thank you so much. Longtime member here of the Knights of Columbus in Maywood, New Jersey. Folks, join us next week for the Pulse on everything you need to know. Have a great week, everybody.